Hi and a warm welcome to another packed edition of LIsburn Distillery TV. On today's show we have exclusive highlights from the Whites' opening game in the Steel and Sons Cup when they took on Crumlin United at the weekend. We look ahead to the Whites' opening league game of the season this Saturday when they take on Banbridge Town. And finally this week we hear from former Distillery player Tony Ferris, who has since gone on to play international football in New Zealand, including a fixture against an England side which included Gary Lineker, Dennis Wise and Stuart Pearce, amongst others. Let's kick off tonight's show then with our exclusive highlights of the Steel and Sons Cup first round game between LIsburn Distillery and Crumlin United, which was played at New Grosvenor Stadium last weekend. Fresh from their opening day victory against Queens in the League Cup, Distillery would have gone into this fixture as favourites. However, they are only too well aware that Crumlin would present a tough challenge, given their battling performance against the Whites in the Intermediate Cup last season. Here's the highlights. So a comfortable win then for Distillery, with Matthew Ferguson adding to his tally of goals for the season, and recently appointed skipper Aaron Harris continuing his winning start to his captaincy. That result takes Distillery into the second round of the competition, where they will take on Banbridge United's under-20s on the 25th of August, but before then, however, the league starts in earnest. And first up is the small matter of a trip to one of the league's top sides, Banbridge Town. The last time the sides met at Crystal Park, the game ended off in a 1-1 draw, and no doubt we can expect more of the same this Saturday when the sides meet once again in Banbridge. Kick-off on that game on Saturday the 18th of August is at 3:00pm, and as usual your support for LIsburn Distillery on the day would be appreciated. Finally on today's show, we're delighted to introduce an interview with a distillery legend of yesteryear. Now living in New Zealand, Tony Ferris played for Distillery in the 1980s, including being a key part of our 1985 County Antrim Shield winning team. Tony then emigrated to New Zealand, where he went on to play for their national side on no less than 13 occasions. LIsburn Distillery TV caught up with Tony on a recent visit back home, and here's what he had to say to us. Tony, thanks very much for joining us this evening on LDTV. It's great to see you again after must be 20 odd years since we've last seen one another.
Definitely.
For people who maybe sort of don't know much about you, obviously you signed for the Distillery a long time ago. Can you remember when you signed for them? Or?
When I was about 16. 1977.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Now you signed for them in 1977. Obviously you were there quite a number of years. You were part of the County Antrim Shield winning side in 1985, which is obviously from our club's viewpoint is one of the highlights of our club's history, recent history certainly.
Certainly was my time at the club as well.
Yeah, must have been a fantastic night that.
It was. Quite a few years leading up to it, we'd had a few cracks at it, and finally we managed to secure a trophy after a few failed attempts at it.
Yeah. Great side there. There was some great players in that team.
Some very
Yourself
good players.
Included, of course.
Some very good players in the team. Yeah. Young Anton Rogan went on to make a good name for himself.
Yeah.
Francis Smith. Barry McMinn, Bobby Elliman, Paul Williams, Buster Andrews.
Yeah.
We had a great squad.
Good bunch of
players.
A lot of
of
those players went on to play sort of full-time football over in England, so which shows how good that young side actually was.
Yeah, well I think after the County Antrim Shield game, that was sort of not long after I decided to go to New Zealand for a lifestyle change, and I think at the time there was about another 5 or 6 players all left around the same time,
right.
Which sort of was pretty hard on the manager at the time because he just built the squad, and all of a sudden all these guys disappeared all over the world, which depleted the squad again, and as a manager probably hurt quite a lot.
Yeah, you quite right in say that you obviously went to New Zealand lifestyle change and so forth.
Yeah.
You came back though, and once again you signed for the Distillery, and then you went away again, and then you came back again and signed for the Distillery. So there must be a bit of a love affair there. You kept coming back.
It was an agreement I had with the chairman at the time, Morton McKnight.
Right.
Morton let me go to New Zealand on a handshake basis. There was no contracts to be signed. It was just if I ever came back and was able to play for the Distillery that I would. And so Morton let me go without any trouble, so I came back and played for the Distillery when I could. Yeah, it's mutual. It's mutual. Both I like playing. Someone to play when I come home.
Exactly. And when you actually went out to New Zealand, you continued to play.
Oh,
and indeed you went to the highest level. You actually represented the New Zealand national side, the all whites, appropriate enough. You went from the whites of Distillery to the all whites of the New Zealand national side. That must have been some experience.
Well, some very good games. I mean, certainly it was unexpected. I never went out there with the intention of trying to qualify to play for New Zealand. Obviously things went really well for me out there. The manager at the All Whites at the time was Irish parents. He was an English fella, Kevin Fallon, and took the All Whites to the 82 World Cup finals. He liked obviously what he's seen and pushed to get me pushed through into the All Whites camp. I had some very good games. Probably the highlight, of course, everyone's playing against England, and they ended up playing when England toured New Zealand in '91. We played 2 games against England. Gary Lineker's swan song, and we went off to the J League. So,
was in that England team? I mean, it must have. Sort of overawed coming onto the pitch and seeing all these massive names of English football. No,
not really. I mean, it's just another game. 11 of them, 11 of us. And I say we held them for 93 minutes. They scored in the 93rd minute, or Lineker scored, I should say, 93rd minute. and the game was finished after that.
Who else was in that team?
Stuart Pearce, probably one of them, probably better known ones.
Right.
David Platt, Ian Wright, Dennis Wise, John Salako, Brian Dean.
Alan Shearer been in that time?
No, before his time.
Right,
I'd say
right.
Gary Lineker was a swan song.
Right.
Jeez, I'm blank.
There's enough good names there to remember. It's lovely to be able to see you played against that sort of caliber of player.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, certainly a big experience. And we held our own. We didn't get embarrassed in any way. So they beat us 1-0 in Auckland and then beat us 2-0 in Wellington.
Yeah.
And we had our chances in both games, so it wasn't so it was all one-sided either. We had a pretty good squad of players as well. Not big flash name players, but guys that had gone to New Zealand for similar to myself for a lifestyle change who were quite hard workers, and there's some very talented players in there too.
Okay. You're home at the moment then, just on a short break visiting family, is that right?
That's it, yeah. Just I've got kids of my own now, and I thought I'd better get them back to meet the rest of my family while we're still young and able. And so if they ever want to do big trips themselves and come back home, well, it is home. They're not foreigners, they're not visitors.
Yeah. They're
family. So that was why we've done this trip, and I get home while we're all still able to.
It's amazing. Yeah. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you here, and great to have you back at LIsburn Distillery.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of LIsburn Distillery TV. Thanks as ever for taking the time to watch today's show. I'm Colin Hopkins, and until the next time, come on you whites!